Since Jasper does it, I gotta make up an intro. I'm gonna go. Hold on, I'm recording now. I'm just gonna deafen. Alright. Let's see if I got this. Alright, I have it written down in my notes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having me. I'm your host, Davin Dave or Daddy. Don't call me the last one, though. Thank you for joining me on a game that I created. It's called Us. So, in a short sense, I created this game for entertainment, fun, and just fun. So, I have a bunch of players with multiple characters. Well, I have 2 players with multiple characters, and we're going to be going through their stories and seeing how it goes. I'm not going to be telling you guys anything that might happen that's going to happen. This is like a D&D type game. If you don't already know that from my past videos, go back and watch those and then come back here. And if you don't, I will probably scream, cry, and yell at you. I'm just kidding. You have fun. Alright, I'm done. You can watch the intro later. It was funny, I promise.
You it probably was.
Alright. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's pull up your character sheet real quick. If anybody remembers Lucas, that would be Rin's character. Or, Lucas's old character, Rin. Lucas, if you want to give a little breakdown on what your character is now, that'd be great.
Hi, my name is Lucas, as Davin said. My character's name is Muffy. She is based off of basically a bison as a human. She lives in very cold weather. She was adopted by a family who lives in the Arctic Circle. She doesn't know who her biological parents are, and she has Earth-based abilities.
Her class is something called a tank. Subclass is a breaker, which means that she's a lot more keen to physical attacks. She has siblings and whatnot, and there's going to be a lot of lore with this character. Alright, perfect. Let me get my bubble up real quick and we'll get started, Lucas.
Okie dokie.
I'm so glad I moved all of those things from bubble up. Okay. Okie dokie. Alrighty, Lucas. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. So immediately you wake up in your large, just ratherly large room with your nice carpet in the middle and a pretty well lit house. It's very cold in the home, and there's this strange sense that something is different about the world. There's this immediately, right off the bat, a weird sense that something has changed and something needs to be fixed.
I get up out of bed and go over to my grandmother's room.
As her room is just the garden. She sleeps in there. As you see your grandmother, I have the picture here. Yes, I know what, I think this is from somewhere, but as you see your grandmother just standing there, tending to her little garden.
As I just kind of tap on one of the walls, it's kind of like knocking before entering, and, say, "Morning, Grandma. Things feel a bit off. Do you feel that?"
She kind of just nods her head and she says, "No, I yes, but I don't know. The streets have been really quiet. Almost everybody's evacuated the city for some reason.
It's also relatively colder.
Village, sorry. It is turning winter.
Well, usually winters aren't this cold in the house. Is the fire lit?
Yes, I believe so.
As I just sort of nod my head, thank you. Thank you for the information and sort of confirmation of my gut feeling as I walk out of the room and go check in on Lynn.
As you walk out of the room, you kind of get the, actually, perfect time. What is your intuition? Your intuition is 3.
3.
That is natural intuition. Okay. You kind of get the sense that Lynn is somewhere nearby, but not outside. She is in the house, but you don't exactly know where.
I walk south.
As you start heading south, I just huffed my candle. As you start heading south, you can see the corridor on your, well, from your character's perspective, right, but from our perspective, you're west. The corridor on your west, and you see past it, you see Lynn. This little girl.
I just walk in and again tap on the wall as if to be knocking on a door for entrance. Hey, Lynn, what are you up to?
As she whips around, almost apparently taking the ground with her.
Take the world with her.
Don't worry, I'll get that fixed up. Yep. Okay. Just bear with me here. Okay, perfect. As there's a giant void in the middle of the room! There's a giant void! Okay. You see Lynn just kind of whip around, absolutely terrified. She has this, like, look of fear yet relief in her eyes.
As I kind of walk over to Lynn, are you okay? What's wrong?
She kind of just like, what the hell is going on?
I too take the world with me.
Okay, I need to figure this out. What's going on with my computer? What?
That whole thing.
Okay. Okay. As you start walking towards her, what did you want to say?
What's wrong?
She kind of just falls, she doesn't fall backwards, but it does just hold her head or her hands over her ears as to, like, cover them up. And she breathes out, and you notice this, like, red almost vapor, come out of her mouth, like a red misty, whitish vapor. As she says, I'm fine. I'm just really cold, and I've been thinking about brother a lot.
I walk over to Lynn and just gently pick her up and hug her.
As you pick her up and hug her, she kind of just buries her face in your shoulder, and she starts bawling her eyes out. Matter of fact, when the tears actually hit your jacket, some of them fall to the ground, and you hear metal or like ice clinking and shattering on the ground.
As I somewhat just take a heavy breath and do my best to comfort her just by running my hands through her hair, and how cold is she? Can I feel?
So, due to your character's like natural resistance to the cold, you can't really feel the cold as much as your sister and your grandmother can. So you can assume by let's see, your perception, or sorry, your intelligence and your mind, you can kind of assume that she's pretty cold, but not. It doesn't seem like it's too cold to the point where it would kill somebody. Not to you. You can't relate to them on that way, in a sense.
I walk out of the room still carrying her and take her to where the fire is. And
apparently you guys just obliterated yourselves. As you walk over to the... Sorry, I forgot. I never designed a fireplace. That'll be really quick and easy. Just bear with me here.
That's alright, take your time.
Whoops.
I don't know why, I just semi-auto assumed that there would be a fireplace in this house.
Ooh. As you want to walk up to the fireplace?
Mm-hmm.
As you do see that the flames, you notice that the flames are blue. As your character, you've heard stories that a blue flame warrants demonic, evil, destructive, and chaotic presence is somewhere near.
I look at Lynn and think back to when she exhaled, and remaining very calm, I simply say, "Grandma, come here, please." Like, just yelling through the house as I sit down on the floor and kind of wrap Lynn in my jacket sitting by the fire.
As you shout out, "Grandma, come here, please," and you want to wrap Lynn near the fire?
Mm-hmm.
With what?
My jacket.
As you see your grandma walk through the corridor, almost at the exact same time, you hear a on the door.
I just look over to the door. Visitors? Grandma, I thought you said everyone abandoned the village. Or did you say almost everybody?
I thought everybody did. I don't know. I should get that.
Wait, Grandma.
As she looks and says,
fire.
"What's wrong?" As her face, as you can see her entire face just, go drop pale white.
I stand up and walk over to Gam Gam and hand her Lynn.
Oh, sorry. As you walk over and hand Grandma Lynn, you see that Lynn is fully unconscious. She has her body shut down due to the cold. As your Grandma Penny takes her and just walks off into the agricultural room that she was just in earlier.
Keep her safe and please warm her up, I say, walking over to the door.
As you walk over to the door?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And answer it. kind of only opening it a crack so that I can, like, poke an eye out and see who's there. Hello?
As you open it just a crack, you poke your eye out to see. Hold on. Give me a second. All of this is going on around the same time. You open it to see this kid, and he doesn't have this smile on his face, but you can see the red eye, and his other eye is completely normal with a gray iris, and a scar, almost like a scar going into the eye on his normal eye. And you see all these cuts on his body, these scars and stitch. It's almost weird and unsettling to look at, as he has a very serious and bold face.
Who are you?
My name is Simo. I'm here looking for, give me a second. As he just reaches in his back pocket and pulls out a notepad, and he says, I'm here looking for a Nirio Kumo. Do you know him?
No. Wait, do I?
No.
Okay. No. I do not.
Okay, well, your campfire's blue. As he kind of just peers in just a little bit.
As I step outside and close the door behind me.
As you step outside and shut the door. Okay, so as to prevent him from looking in.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, there we go. There we go. As you step outside, even you notice that it is blistering cold for normal people outside.
What are you doing outside in this kind of weather?
Don't worry about me. I'm just looking for this man. I have a contract here. It's worth a lot of money if I find him. And everybody's been evacuating the town, so I kind of just assumed he's here. He's been going out rampaging on people. Nobody will give a clear description on what he looks like. They keep getting these burns on their bodies every time they do. Don't let the scars scare you. I'm not a bad guy.
She just kind of looks him up and down.
As you can see from head to toe, he's loaded with these scars. There's not a spot on his body, it appears, where he does not have scars.
Must be a pretty well worth it contract if you're all the way out here in the Arctic Circle. Pretty dangerous.
Here's a cookie.
What?
Here's a cookie. Do you want a cookie?
No, thank you.
It's just a
Why
chocolate.
do you have a cookie?
It's just a chocolate chip cookie. As he takes a bite out of the cookie.
Do you usually just walk up to random strangers and offer them a cookie?
No, only ones that will actually talk to me. As you can see, that the weather is starting to clear up just a little bit. Or actually a whole lot of it, and the blizzard goes away.
Finally, storm's clear.
I know. Your campfire was blue. I'm starting to think that there's some form of demonic ice... some ice demon around. Has your town ever been attacked by demons before?
It's definitely been somewhat attacked before, but I don't know if it was by demons.
Attacked by what, if I might ask?
I don't know.
And do you mind if I come inside and ask you some more questions?
Yes.
You do mind?
You can ask me questions, you just can't go inside.
Understandable. I can tell that you're trying to hide something, and I'm not going to pry, nor am I going to ask. But
I'm not really hiding anything. It's just my family's inside, and I don't know.
I completely get it. Okay, how do I say this? I'm looking for a man with a very triangle-like chin, giant horns, purple skin, and wings. Have you ever seen anybody like that?
No.
From what I know, there has been 15 people that have gone missing over somebody, and the main suspect is that person.
Wait, people have gone missing?
Yes, people have been going missing randomly. The first incident started around 16 to 15 years ago.
You can tell just by the change in her facial expression that gears in her brain are turning, and she's definitely thinking about someone who has probably...
So you might know something about this.
They just go missing without a trace.
Usually, but there is one thing that there is always one thing that's in common.
What's that?
The person always Nirio Kumo always attacks groups and leaves one alive to tell the tale. And then eventually that person dies too. We were thinking that it's something of a demonic possession, but it's much more intelligent to be that. The attacks are planned and thought out, almost like they're premeditated.
As she just holds out her hand and gestures for you to take it.
Gestures for who to take what?
She just kind of holds out her hand and gestures for him to grab her hand so that she can lead him.
As he kind of does keep his his left hand to his left hip, not near his pocket but just above it, and he says, whatever you want me to do, tell me, and I might comply, but I'm not putting myself at any risk at the moment.
If what you're saying is true, come inside, she says as she just turns around and opens the door.
Oh, sorry, I forgot one detail to point out. You can see hoisted over his back, a giant, sniper rifle that's got these strange purple vents all around it, as it is glowing and just pulsing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sniper rifle is half his size.
She steps inside.
As he steps inside with you, but also keeping his left hand on his hip. Almost like he's... Hold on. Your character can definitely just put together that he is keeping it there to grab onto something that he might have on him just in case things go south.
As she closes the door behind him.
Whoops. Oh my gosh. As he walks to the side and you close the door behind him, he says, "Okay, so what do you need?"
It's my sister.
What about her?
Something's happening.
What do you mean?
I request that you leave your weapons, she says, looking to his left hip where he won't really take his hand from, by the door. I still don't know you and I still don't really trust you.
Look, I'll leave my knife as he, knives, as he pulls up his left leg sleeve, and he pulls out 2 knives from his boots, and he sets them by the doors, and he pulls up his shirt and takes out a knife and sets it by the door as he as he reaches in the back of his hoodie and pulls out a knife and sets it by the door. He says, "I'll leave my knives, but my sniper rifle will never leave my side."
As she just kind of looks at him concerned.
You gotta come prepared. Oh, right, sorry. As he rolls up his right hand sleeve, and he's got this, like, brace full of, like, kunais, shurikens, and a knife. And he just takes off the brace and then sets it to the side. You gotta come prepared.
You know, I'm actually kind of impressed.
Of what?
I've never seen someone carry that many weapons at the exact same time.
Like I said, you have to come prepared.
I guess this is the Arctic Circle. Follow me. I believe my grandma took Lynn to her room. I stay walking down
hold
to
on.
Jam.
Wait. Just wait a second. I do need you to do me a favor and tell me exactly what I can expect meeting these people.
My grandma's really sweet. I'm no longer certain about Lynn. Something's definitely wrong. She exhaled earlier, and there was this red smoke, and she was crying tears of ice.
Okay, the second thing I'm not so worried about, as you can, hold on. Seven. Okay, you can kind of see that he's getting ready to make a very quick and not violent but erratic movement to get a certain distance in a certain very quick amount of time. As you can see, you can kind of put together with your wisdom that he is going to start bolting it out of response of what you said about her breathing out red.
She just kind of takes a deep breath and just again looks him up and down and says, "Just don't break anything if you gun your way out."
Look,
By gun your way out, I mean make a run for the door.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not running for the door as he starts walking towards the corridor.
As she walks to catch up to him, "You don't even know where you're going. Why are you going first?"
Yeah, I know. As he looks over to the right. And sees those two, as Penny turns around, and you can see Lynn with this, her nails are kind of glowing red. As you can see a little red crack starting from her eye.
As I once again just walk over to Lynn and somewhat wrap her in my jacket. "How are you feeling?"
As she is unconscious. Simo says this is not good whatsoever.
"Do you know what's happening to her?"
Yeah. She's becoming one of us.
Is that what that red crack is? What do you mean, one of us?
This
What's happening
red crack. Listen. I'm gonna be very blunt with you. There is around a 14% chance that your sister dies. Either tomorrow or next month. On this exact date.
As shock and fear just wash over Muffy, and you can see it in her eyes. She is terrified for her little sister's future.
As Simo kind of just rubs his forehead in some frustration, and he says, okay, this is the result of this. I don't even know where to begin explaining this. Something in your sister.
How do I fix it?
Look, you can't. There's nothing you can do. Something in your sister has to be awakened. There's some hidden power that your sister has, which makes her far, far stronger than most people. But right now, that red smoke shows that her body's rejecting it. Has she been showing any symptoms? Seeming like she has a cold or something like that.
She was freezing this morning. She passed out because of how cold she was. I don't know.
Old lady, has she been acting strange lately? Your grandma
I just
Penny.
kind of glare at him for calling her old lady.
As he just glares back, in the second he notices your eye dilate, he automatically, the red crack kind of, you can hear it just, and then it grows just a little bit, and you can feel this a massive shock of fear shoot through your body as he looks over at Penny, and he says, ma'am, has anything been wrong with this little girl recently? As Penny looks down at Lynn and says, she's been acting a bit combative lately.
This morning when I walked into the room and knocked on the wall, she kind of jumped. I say somewhat like walking over to Lynn, but keeping my distance from Simo.
As you can see, this red crack continue to grow, just a small bit. As you want to walk over towards her?
Mm-hmm.
As Simo just says, do you know what power she has?
Mostly ice related.
Okay. On her father or mother's side?
Mother.
I
say as I kind of put my hand on her head to try and feel whether she's still freezing or if her body temperature has risen at all.
As you do that, her body temperature seems to be shifting from burning hot to blistering cold. Almost like instant shifts.
So there's nothing I can do to fix this?
There is, but I don't think that we should go there.
What is it?
You are going to sacrifice your closest relative. And yeah, no, that's I don't see that as an option. There is no way to prevent her possible death, but if she manages not to die, she will become very strong. And I think this might have to do as a result of fear.
Fear?
Yes, something might have scared this little girl recently, almost to the point where she almost had a heart attack, and this is the fear response. Mm-hmm. It's a dormant gene. It's extremely aggressive. So aggressive that it might attack the host.
A few days ago, something broke into our house and kidnapped our brother. Maybe she saw it.
as Lynn kind of just, she coughs, and this giant blast of, oh my bad, not that big. This giant blast of, This giant blast of ice comes out from her, and Simo falls on his ass, just absolutely horrified.
What is the ground made out of?
The ground is made out of, like, very poorly, it's poor concrete. It's wood, but it's gray. It's strange.
Okay. He's getting worse.
Yeah,
and
that's...
you're sure there's nothing else we can do to fix it?
Nothing that I know of. I haven't researched this stuff too much. One of the best people... Sorry, here, I just had to alter it. Like, I know that one of the best people to go talk to this is, well, Duros, but he's nowhere to be found.
Duros?
Yeah, Duros.
Who is that? Where can we find him?
We can't, and I don't know where he is. But he's an old friend of mine. But, he went off a while ago, leaving the base of operations that we're in. That's not important. What's important is that your sister probably is not going to die. If she doesn't, that is great power that she's going to have, and she will need a teacher. Do you happen to have any powers? You don't have to tell me what they are, just do you have any?
Did I say that her ice powers were on her father or mother's side?
Mother.
I was wrong. Father. Our mother has earth powers.
Okay. That explains a lot. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, father's side. Sorry, I'm kind of...
No, I get it. It's fine. You're under a lot of stress. It's okay. That just makes...
She's just kind of putting her hand to her face and shaking her head a little bit, trying to actually get her thoughts straight.
As he kind of just walks up and lightly just taps her on the back. It's fine. I get it. You're under a lot of stress. There is one other way, though.
What?
It's going to change your sister, right?
Yes. In what way?
She's going to have to drink a demon's blood.
And what would that do to her?
Well, that would turn her into a demon. Which would change some of her physiology, the way she responds to normal human food, her powers, and how aggressive creatures are towards her.
Would it make them more or less aggressive?
More. Demons are normally aggressive creatures, as one would know. I don't know what to do anymore. I've been looking for this Kumo guy, and I can't find any leads. Wait. Oh my gosh.
What?
I just remembered an old friend I had. That's why the fire's blue. You guys haven't happened to have any like strange occurrence recently, have you? And this is like stuff that you can make up, Lucas. Like any strange recent news events that have been going on, have you, that might warrant problems with any creature?
Recently? Well, I guess the winter's a bit colder than normal. Blizzards are a bit more active. Can't go anywhere near the ice fishing spot.
Ice fishing spot. Where?
It's at a, well, it's at a lake that's permanently frozen over. Usually the ice users of the village would make a hole so that they could get the fish out from under the ice. It's just north of town.
North. How far?
5 or 6 miles.
Holy... As Penny kind of like chuckles just a little bit and she says, I just remembered you have to go to school soon.
Grandma, school is canceled during winter. You know this.
No, not here. Yeah, no, she's right. School isn't canceled in the Atlantic Circle, or the... Yeah. She's right, I think. I don't know. I haven't been out here in so long. What were we saying? Oh, right, the fishing hole. Yeah, no, 5 miles north, that's above the Ring City.
The what city?
The Ring City. It's like an old ancient, what's it called? Legend that's been discovered true. The Ring City was this gigantic labyrinth of demons and people, a mixed race of people who all lived together happily. And one day there was a lot of discrimination and destruction that happened, and everything was wiped away.
What lives there?
Go ahead.
What lives there now?
Demons. Mostly demonkins.
As you can see, she is just visibly clenching her jaw.
As he does, like, kind of step close and offer, and kind of, like, slowly raise his hand to... You can see that he's going to put his hand on your shoulder as a form of try and comfort.
As she just kind of stands there and lets him, and takes a breath.
As
Do
you
want to
what?
look at this? Do you want to go to the ice fishing spot?
Well, I got my rifle. Do you want to take Lynn with you? Or this little girl with you, sorry.
I've said her name multiple times. He probably has gathered her name by now.
Oh, do you want to take Lynn with you?
I think it'd be best if Lynn stayed here with Grandma Penny.
Okay, something that I'm not getting. She has ice powers. And quite frankly, extremely strong ones. So, why is she being affected by the cold?
Her body is shifting from extreme hot to extreme cold rapidly. I don't know what's happening. I say as I kind of look up to Grandma Penny to see if she's gathered any answers.
As he walks over, as he kind of like steps back, and pulls it, like he sets this little bag on the ground, and he just pulls out this syringe, and he says, "Ma'am, can you place Lynn down, I'll explain everything before I do it, because I do need y'all's permission. As Penny does set Lynn down very, very carefully. Simo flicks the syringe just a little bit, and he says, "This is a autoimmunity suppressant fluid, so it's going to suppress her immune system's reactions, which means that the hot, cold switches won't kill her. If they do. But it also means that for the next 20 hours after injection, if she gets a cold, she'll probably die."
Grandma Penny's our village healer. You can keep her safe, right? I say, looking at Grandma.
As your grandma, with a very serious face, she just nods.
I look back at Simo, or this random stranger dude who has just entered our home.
He said his name.
Oh, okay. I look at Simo. Fine. You better not be lying.
As Simo walks over in no response to what you said, and he starts, like, moving around her right arm. Just moving it and pulling up her sleeve and poking at her veins and whatnot, holding the syringe pointing up in the air. As he kind of just sticks his tongue in between his teeth. Clearly he's trying to focus and pay attention to what he's doing.
As I just kind of look at all the plants in Grandma Penny's garden.
As you look at all the plants, they're just like a bunch of basic plants that you would see out in your regular garden. As Simo says, here it is. Hey, Miss, as the old lady Penny walks over and says, "It's Penny. Can you, this is such a strange request. Can you hold her tongue out, please?" As Penny seems very estranged. And it's kind of just like a still silence that's going on as they're just staring at each other. It's just Simo's very blinked face and Penny's just weirded out.
As Muffy is also, she just has this weirded out face. Her tongue?
Yeah, her tongue. Yes. See...
Careful, Grandma Penny, she's a biter.
What?
I just kind of sarcastically look to Grandma Penny. Careful, Grandma Penny, she's a biter.
Your sister Lynn doesn't have an arm boss cell receptor. So... I'm gonna have to go in through her tongue. She's not gonna feel it. But if she was awake, it'd be very painful. She just won't be able to talk for a couple days. That's so weird how she doesn't have an arm boss cell receptor. Huh. Okay. Go ahead.
As I do walk closer to sort of see what's happening.
As Simo puts on these rubber gloves and he says, "Fine, I guess I'll do it." And he's clearly trying to prevent any form of bacteria going on. So he just puts on this mask and he's got these rubber gloves and he's wiping the syringe, just making sure, and he opens up Lynn's mouth just a bit and he pulls up her tongue, almost like it's like, she's got a long tongue. So you can see all through the bottom of it, and you see this one cyan blue vein coming up. And he... Go ahead.
As Muffy just have a confused look on her face as she just thinks, where did he get the gloves and the mask? Where was he holding those?
As he looks over and he says, "I can see you questioning me!" As he just kind of very slowly and carefully sticks the syringe into her tongue. It's almost like he didn't even put it in because of how, like, far out, how, like, thin the vein is. And then he injects this strange purple fluid into her tongue, and you can see her eyes veins start glowing purple as the little crack starts to just stop growing. The little crack from her eye stops glowing. As her body does start violently shaking, and Simo kind of just falls back on his ass, on his butt, and he's just kind of watching. Very critically, of course.
As I just sit next to Lynn and look at Simo, what's happening? Is this supposed to happen?
Yes, no, she's fine. Do not sit near her.
As I back up slightly.
As he does jump back, and Lynn, as she's shaking, immediately bursts into this block of ice. Has Simo just... Okay, your sister, your sibling, whatever, your sister should be fine. I hope.
You hope?
Yes, I hope. Like I said, if she gets a cold, she might die. It's an autoimmune thing. Sorry, not autoimmune. It's an immune thing. If you can't take care of one, you can't... Everything comes with risks, is what I'm trying to say. She should be fine. That big ol' ice block looks pretty safe. That was her body's self-defense mechanism. So...
Yeah, I wasn't concerned about the ice block. She's done that before. A few times, actually.
Huh, interesting. You're gonna have to tell me about it on the... Wait, are you coming with me to the fishing hole? I'm still looking for the ring city. Or the...
Yeah. I'll go with you. Or, I guess, show you where it is at least.
As he kind of just reaches in his pocket, and you can see no indents in this pocket. Like, there is nothing there, but he pulls out a chocolate chip cookie and he says, "Do you want a cookie?"
As I just look at him once more confused than before.
As he just shakes his head back and forth. He just shakes his head back and forth and he says, "Don't even. There's no point."
I just think to myself, I swear he's hiding this stuff in his underwear or something.
What are you thinking, bro? As he's very weirded out. It's not like he read your thoughts, but it's almost like he understood that you're thinking something strange.
Let's just go. I say, looking to Aunt Penny for permission to go down to the fishing area, to the ice fishing area.
As Simo just kind of like grabs this bag and he rolls it up, and it's a very small bag now, and he just stuffs it in his like a backpack that he's carrying. And he just says, "All right, cool, let's go." So anyways,
Did you hear?
what'd you say?
Did you hear what I said about looking to Aunt Penny for confirmation that I could go to the ice fishing place?
As your Aunt Penny takes off her necklace, like your Grandma Penny. Why'd you say aunt?
I didn't say aunt!
You said aunt! You said Aunt Penny! This makes me mad! You said Aunt Penny! No!
Maybe because I have an Aunt Penny.
Oh my gosh! Okay, I almost freaking did it again. That makes me so mad! Hold on, I need to take a damn moment. That made me so mad! I almost did it again. Lucas, I blame you. Okay, anyways, we'll go back to it. So, as your Grandma Penny nods her head, and then, she just nods her head. Forget the necklace part.
As I walk over and hug her and say, "Don't worry, I'm not Dad."
As you can see, a single tear drop onto the floor.
I give her a little kiss on the cheek and then walk out.
As Simo has this slight, very smirk on his face.
What are you smirking at?
That was so sweet.
She just kind of rolls her eyes and sighs, and just before leaving the corridor, she does look back at Penny and tell her to take care of Lynn.
As Penny does that same nod that she did before. As Simo just kind of, I guess backs up and waits just a little bit, and he does that little elbow bump, and he says, "Come on, don't pretend to be the cool gal. You know that was absolutely adorable. That was sweet." As he just walks over to all of these knives that he just threw on the floor, and he just starts picking them up. And he looks over at you and he says, "This is gonna take a minute, so just can you give me a little privacy? This is private. A man and his knives gotta have some privacy. Please, turn around."
As she once again just looks at him and just thinks, "Yeah, he's definitely keeping some of those in his underwear." And then he just walks over to the fire.
As you start walking over to the fire, you just hear this "Hey!" shout out, and you hear a tss come from right next to you, and you see a knife perfectly stick right in the wall, all the way over here, and you can kind of hear him aggressively pointing, and he says, "Don't you be thinking weird stuff!"
As she just walks over and pulls the knife out of the wall.
As you walk over and pull the knife, or go to reach for the knife, Simo says, "I want to do that!"
Why?
Is it move to the right just a little bit, please?
I move to the right.
As you move to the right, you hear Simo snap his fingers, and the knife, it's almost like it wasn't even embedded into the wall, just zooms into Simo's hand, as he just puts it, in between his pants and underwear, where he's got his little knife pouch, or knife holster.
As she is now just giving him a weirded out look.
He looks at you and he just "What do you want from me? Do you want the cookie? I still have it. I have 3 more.
I don't want your underwear cookies, she says.
It's not an underwear cookie! As he goes to reach for the sniper and just kind of realizes where he is, what he's doing, and who he's talking to, and he's like, "Oh, sorry. Sorry, I have a really short temper. A little crazy."
I do look at the wall to see if it's indented or anything.
Oh, it is. It has a perfect indent of the knife. It's not one of those indents where it has the knife split and some extra. It is a just perfect indent of the point of the knife.
As I kind of just rub my hand over it and say, the one thing I told you to do was not break anything.
Simo is just loading the brace on his arm. And you can see, like, a large scar going up his arm. And he says, I can hear you!
That's the point, I say, walking over to the fire.
I'm gonna throw another knife at you. As he
At me or in my general direction?
As he just kind of like dips his head down and he says, sorry for threatening you in your own house.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah. As you say that once more, your campfire actually turns yellow.
As I just turn to look at it.
It is super bright to look at. Like, it is hurting your eyes almost to look at the fire, the yellow fire.
As I kind of, like, put my hand over my face and back up.
As you put your hand over your face and back up, Simo is standing right behind you at this moment. Like, he's not right behind you, but he's behind you enough to where you can kind of feel his presence behind you.
As I do stop backing up before I run into him. What the fire?
Yellow fire, that's... Huh, I'm not really sure what that means. Is it burning your eyes or something? You okay?
It's a little bright.
As he reaches in this non-existent pocket in his hoodie, and he just pulls out sunglasses and he says, here you go.
As once again, I just give him a confused look. And in my head I just think, who is this guy? Pocket Man?
So I guess let me explain. I have a magical ability called BS magic. You can summon things just out of nowhere, and in a certain set of time they'll just disappear. It's like the only magic skill I use, and it's so fun.
In her head, once again, she just thinks, that explains a lot. This is going to be a sarcastically fun adventure.
Before you even think that my knives are fake, I will throw each and every one at you and you will feel the wind on them. All 37!
What happened to being sorry for threatening me in my own home?
Were you saying that out loud?
Yes.
That wasn't a threat, that was... Okay, that was a threat and I'm sorry.
You say that was a promise.
That was a threat and I'm sorry.
Let's just go. I say, walking around him and leaving the house. Before leaving the house, I yell, Grandma! The fire's yellow!
As silence just kind of fills the house. As the blizzard outside, you can hear it just go away.
As I do walk outside.
As you walk outside, unfortunately, and I am sorry to cut it short, that is going to be the end of the first session of the Great Neuron, also known as Us 2. Thank you so much for watching.